You wanted to see me?
Yes, Paul. I figured we'd try this again. For one thing, if you're going to change your name, why go from a Puerto Rican name to an Italian one?
Because I don't look it. When people say to me all the time, you don't look Puerto Rican. You don't look Puerto Rican. But I am.
So you figured you looked Italian?
No. I wanted to be somebody different. So I became Paul San Marco.
Why did you want to become someone new?
Well, I'm not exactly proud of my past.
Who is? But that's what the word means, Paul. Past.
That's easy for you to say. But for
Look,
a guy like...
Wait a minute. What made you start dancing? Your parents?
No. I mean, what do Puerto Ricans know about theater? We have all access now, but back then we didn't have anything. Except my father. But he loved movies, and he'd take us all the time. But he worked nights. But when he got off, he would come home, and he would take us to 42nd Street. And we'd go from one movie into another, and another. I don't know what it was. I always loved musicals.
How old were you?
7 or 8.
On 42nd Street?
Yeah. It was crazy.
Go on.
Well, I'd have to sit down front. Because I couldn't see. I wear contacts now. Anyway, I'd sit down front and these really strange men would come and sit beside me and play with me. I guess I never told anybody about it because I guess it didn't matter.
Why didn't it matter?
Why?
Look, Paul, if this is too rough for you, I'll have your picture and your resume.
No. Okay. Well, from all those years of watching movie musicals, I used to dance around the street. And I would get caught all the time. Oh, God, it was embarrassing. But I was always being Sid Charisse. Always. Which I never really understood, because I always wanted to be an actor. I mean, I really wanted to perform. One time my cousin said to me, "You'll never be an actor." And I knew that she was telling me this because I was such a sissy. I mean, I was terribly effeminate. I always knew I was gay, and that didn't bother me. What bothered me was the fact that I didn't know how to be a boy. One day I caught my reflection in the mirror and I said to myself, "You're 14 years old, and you're a faggot. What are you going to do with the rest of your life?" Well, by that time, I was at Cardinal Hayes High School, and there were 3,000 boys there, and I had no protection anymore. No homeroom where I could be funny and charming with the tough guys who would fight my battles for me, like when I went to small schools. I liked school, but my grades, they got so bad. Even if I knew the answers to questions, I wouldn't raise my hand because I was afraid they would laugh at me. They'd even whistle at me in the halls. It was awful. Just awful. Well, finally, I went down to the principal's office and I said, "I am a homosexual." Well, it was a Catholic high school. And at the age of 15, you just didn't say things like that. And he said, "Do you want to see a psychologist?" And I did. And he said, "I think you should quit school. You're very well adjusted for your age." So I did. I didn't want to. But I couldn't take it anymore. See, what I was doing when I quit school was trying to find out how to be a man. You know, there's plenty of people in this world who don't know how to be men. And since then, I found out that I am one. I was looking for the wrong thing. I was trying to be butch. I started hanging around 72nd Street with all these really strange people, people who were like me, so that I could understand what it was that I was. And someone told me that they were looking for male dancers down at the Jewel Box Review. You know, the drag show. So I went down to audition. Now, from all those years of pretending to be Sid Charisse, I had this fabulous extension. I mean, I could turn. Anyway, my first audition, and they said to me, "You're too short to be a boy. How would you like to be a pony?" And I said, "What's that?" And they said, "A girl." "Well, what do I have to do?" "Show us your legs." "Well, I have hair on my legs." "That's all right, come on upstairs." So I went upstairs and they hiked up my dungarees and they put on this pair of nylon stockings and high heels. It was freaky. It was incredible. And I went back downstairs and they said, "Oh, you have wonderful legs." And I said, "Really?" Terrific. This is so strange thinking about all this right now. That was a whole lifetime ago. I was just past 16. Anyway. Oh, then there was this whole thing about me trying to hide it from my parents. Oh, that was something. Because I had to buy all this stuff, like shoes to rehearse in, and earrings, and makeup. And I would hide it, and my mother would find it. And I'd tell her that there was this girl in the show, and she didn't want her mother to know what she was doing, so I was keeping all of this stuff from her. She believed me. Well, I was finally in show business. It was the asshole of show business. But it was a job. And I had friends. But after a while, it got so demeaning. No one at the jewel box had any dignity. They all hated themselves and considered themselves freaks. I don't know what it was. I suppose it was the dignity that finally got to me. So I left. Well, I muddled around for a while. I was an office boy, or I was a waiter. But without an education, you can't get a job. So when the jewel box called and asked if I would come back, I went. Well, we were at the Apollo Theater on 145th Street. Well, we were doing 4 shows a day, plus a movie. Oh, it was tacky. But the show was going to Chicago, and my parents wanted to say goodbye. They were going to bring the luggage to the stage door after the show. Well, we were doing this Far East number. Oh, and I looked like Anna Mae Wong. Oh, I had these 2 great big chrysanthemums on either side of my head and this whole huge gold headdress with balls hanging all over it. And I was going on for the finale, and I was going down the stairs, and who should I see at the stage door? My parents. They got there too early. Well, I freaked. I didn't know what to do, and I thought to myself, I know, I'll just walk quickly past them like all the others, and they'll never recognize me. So I took a deep breath, and I started down the stairs, and just as I passed my mother, I heard her say, "Oh my God!" Well, I died. But what could I do? I had to go on to the finale. After the show, I went back to my dressing room, and when I was finished dressing and taking my makeup off, I went back downstairs, and there they were, standing with all these. And they said, "Please write. Make sure you eat. Take care of yourself." And just before my parents left, my father turned to the producer and he said, "Take care of my son."